When I was thinking about doing a series on video about lifestyle and design, I was first figuring out office setup. But then I was like, well, we're talking about lifestyle and design. Maybe it shouldn't be in an office. Maybe it should just be in nature. And sometimes it should be in an office, but that depends on the type of topic I'm talking about. Welcome. I'm Jeroen Spoelstra, and this is a very first video in a series of lifestyle design talks, lectures, vlogs, whatever you want to call them. And I'm gonna take you on a short journey every time about a specific topic. Today I want to start about what is lifestyle design and why is it relevant to me. Um, Lifestyle design is about designing beyond human needs, to put it simple. To not only put humans in the decision-making table, but also put non-humans, natural life, natural environments, animals, plants at the decision-making table, with the idea to restore biodiversity and restore the balance between human ecosystems and the biological ecosystem. Which sounds kind of weird that I kind of separate them, but that's what we humanity did. We kind of created our own new ecosystem and then a natural ecosystem, and we kind of lived separately next to each other. The goal with lifestyle design is to restore those disbalances and to create maybe one ecosystem again, like where human and nature live together and have a connection together. To me, lifestyle design is about restoring these relationships or designing new relationships. Our relationship with food, our relationship with the products we use, our relationship with money, with economic growth, our relationship with nature. It's at the moment I feel everything is in disbalance, and I'm not saying lifestyle design is the solution, but it can be part of a system of solutions to restore life on our planet, basically, because we have to design for all life, where when we design something for ourselves, we take into account how we possibly damage the planet, or possibly damage natural habitat, or maybe when we buy something, how does it affect the family of the person that made it? Can he or she actually live from making my t-shirt, or or working behind the counter in a supermarket? Or does he or she needs 6 other jobs, for example? 6 might be a little bit a big number, but you get the point. How did I came up with lifestyle design? I'm not the inventor of lifestyle design, but for me it was like a epiphany I had while living here in Spain, and also probably because of COVID. I'm originally from the Netherlands. I lived 20 years in Haarlem, next to Amsterdam, and of those 20 years, the last 10 years I focused on human-centered design and entrepreneurship in my work, and always with the idea of to improve social well-being or sustainable well-being on our planet or in the region I live. And when I moved to Spain, I literally moved to nature. I got a new, I kind of reconnected with nature that connection I lost when I moved from a rural area in the Netherlands where I grew up to the city of Haarlem. And during COVID, I realized how serene everything is when there's no airplanes and when there's no tourists. That you can hear everything around you, like this, the smallest sound of an animal you can hear because there's no distraction of sound. And then as soon as lockdowns were lifted, people kind of came in way more numbers than before to the Pyrenees where I live. And what I saw is that they have no respect for nature, that there's no connection. They treat it as like a theme park. Um, and then I was like, well, that's not the way we should treat nature. We can visit nature and enjoy it, but it's way more that we have to connect with it, I feel. And then I started looking into life-centered design, and I kind of discovered it by reading about it from John Takara, um, and a trend report from Frog. Um, but there was not much that there was to be found on the internet, kind of like what is it, how can you use it. So basically I started kind of on a journey of developing what life-centered design is for me. Um, and for me it's like a design philosophy, it's an approach, but it's a fluid one. It's not definite yet, and maybe it should be definite. Um, there's another designer in Damien Lutz. He focuses way more on product design and what you can do with lifestyle design and product design. And for me, it's way more like I'm coming from a human-centered design background, and what I really like about human-centered design is the first research part. Like that research part that gives you that really dives you into, makes you dive into the problem or into kind of like the problem area, gain insights, and from there come up with like design challenges and possible solution strategies. But those strategies are not fixed. No, it's not like we design a product or we design a poster or we design more biodiversity. No, it's kind of really looking into kind of what is the problem now and what does the problem need solving. And from there you can come up with something, and it can be a product. It can be maybe like I don't know, like a new way of living with the land. It can be new systems. It can be new education. But really focus on what is the problem first, and then looking from a holistic point of view, where you kind of incorporate nature into your thinking and into your decision making, and from there you move on. And one thing I also want to kind of like state about life-centered design, that it's like it should be something from everyone, that everyone could use. It should be kind of a collaborative act that really focuses on the real needs, and just not on some wants we as humans have. Like, let me explain this a little bit. What we do with human-centered design or with design thinking, we talk about like people's needs or users' needs, but at the end, it's always about what the company wants to sell you, and it has nothing to do with the needs. And they talk a lot about pains, like we have to solve some people's pains, but those pains are merely inconveniences. And I think that's where a lot of the things that kind of like go wrong with society or with like sustainability is that we kind of focus on like more convenience, less life, outsourcing more of our own life. And lifestyle design should be way more about like living more, about more life, feeling that you're alive, and working with that towards kind of a more sustainable future. This was my first video. The next time might be on this location, or I switch to another location. Today we were in the forest of the Sierra de Banaston, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.